Welcome back to the channel, guys. Unconformed here. Let's dive straight into it. Liverpool with the double header today. Great game, great couple matches. Well, the first one, if you're a Liverpool fan, it was obviously better than the second one. And there's a lot really to unpack in this whole thing. And I think we kind of get the reasoning and the understanding as to why Liverpool are making the moves that they're making, why certain players are moving on, and why certain players are being pursued. So I want to go over some of the big takeaways from the first game, then the second game. But if you guys absolutely love Liverpool content, you can't get enough of it. You love hearing different perspectives, especially on this channel where you're probably going to hear stuff you've never heard before from a Liverpool supporter. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, join the club, Unconformed FC. But anyway, let's dive straight into it. Slot's intensity is going to be his edge against other managers. I love the fact that in every single game that we've seen him play or that we've seen him coach, his intensity stays the exact same throughout the whole thing. And it isn't like a Jurgen Klopp type of intensity, as you probably know. It is a more measured and a calculated version of a Jurgen Klopp where he is on that sideline. He is marching up and down. He is in the fourth official's ear, but it feels a little bit different. And then every moment that he gets, he's coaching a player. He's telling a player the positioning. He's telling the player some of the things that they can tweak and they can get better. I saw a little video of him talking to Ibu a little bit in that second game during the water break and literally just drilling him, doing a little micro drill with him in that little water break. And I don't think the Liverpool players have had that level of detail in terms of a head coach in a long time. Because I know Pep Linders is kind of that same vein where he's very into the details and things like that. And if you haven't, check out his RB Salzburg team over in Austria. They are absolutely on fire right now, and they've already won 2 games, and they're like spanking everybody. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up getting a title in that division. But Slot, his intensity is what I love the most, and you can tell there is a standard that he wants his players to play at, down to the pass, down to opening up your body instead of doing a back flick, right? Which I've heard was a thing that he's been drilling in practice, that he's like, no more flicks, no more back heels, no more, contorting your body and weird. Open up your body, receive the ball, look, pass. You know what I mean? The basics that you learn when you're a kid in football. Luis Diaz is who we think he is. Well, the majority of the Liverpool fan base think he is. If you've been watching this channel, you know that I've always thought that if Luis Diaz can get his finishing together and he can get his decision-making together, he is Neymar. He is on that level of Neymar in terms of skill on that left-hand side, of being able to get past players with ease and being clinical. And we saw that today. Less of the flash and dash, less of the step overs, less of the flicks, less of overplaying the ball, and more of making the right decisions. And I absolutely love it. The link up play between him, Diogo Jota, Dominic Szoboszlai, and Mohamed Salah was a thing of beauty. And speaking of Dominic Szoboszlai, some great decision making from him to set up that goal. I think that front four is going to be very, very important. And we're going to talk about who is probably going to be the starting forwards for Liverpool in the Ipswich game. But he looked good today, potentially better than Cody Gakpo did all season. The rest that he's kind of gotten has been, I think, super beneficial to him. But we'll see how that goes. I think the more quality players that you have in every position, the better. And we'll talk about that left wing and who I think is a new candidate for that left wing, and maybe why Fabio Carvalho ended up leaving because of this guy. So we're going to bring him up in a little bit. If you watch the game, the second game, you probably already know who I'm talking about. Okay, so should Diogo Jota start over Darwin Nunes? I'm seeing a lot of people on social media talk about Darwin is as bad as we think he is. You know what I mean? Like, we thought Darwin changed. Uruguay Darwin is completely different than Liverpool Darwin. Let's keep in mind, he hasn't played in a couple weeks, and he also has been playing with the second team. He played with the second team today. Diogo Jota pretty much played with a 100% full-strength team and a Trent Alexander-Arnold that looks like he is ready to play the best football that he's ever played in his life, right? The pass that he possessed put under a spell that towards Diogo Jota, and then the finish was just as magical. If we could see more of that, I don't even know. I don't know if Darwin finishes that type of, and he probably does because the level of difficulty. But I think it'll be down to Arne, and I think it'll be down to whether he'll be ruthless or not. And I think as we've seen, Arne is not afraid to be ruthless. He's not, and he will drop players that I believe it or not. Here's the next take. I think Kostas Tsimikas is probably going to start over Andy Robo. I think he's going to be the starting left back over Andy Robo. And it's not because, and hey, don't come after me. I know there's a lot of people that are like, no way, Tsimikas needs to get out of our club. He's not good enough. There's people that believe that, truly believe that. But I think he has earned Arne Slot's trust and respect over actually probably one of the players that have been around the longest to learn his system, which I think is why he probably looks the best in it right now. And Robo is just kind of getting to the swing of things. I think Kostas will probably be our starter for the Ipswich game, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's our starter for the following game as well. I think it's time for you guys to start giving Kostas his flowers. He's not as bad of a left back as everybody's saying he is. He's looked good essentially the entire preseason and has made one mistake in like what, three games, something like that. So keep an eye on that. Another player that surprised me, Ryan Gravenberch. Ryan Gravenberch was playing in that 6 position that Arne Slot is. It's like a creative 6. It's not a traditional 6 that we've essentially been playing, and which is why we've seen Endo struggle a little bit, although he played a lot better in that position in the second game. But the way that Arne wants to play the 6, it takes a lot of technical ability, ball control, and dribbling, right? Which is why Zubimendi is a huge target for us. But Ryan can do that role. I think if the Zubimendi deal falls through, we may see Ryan transition into a Paul Pogba-esque role for Arne Slot, and I don't think that is too far-fetched. I don't think that's too far-fetched. I don't think that's too crazy to say that Ryan Gravenberch does have the potential to be in a Paul Pogba-esque mold where he can play. One pass that he played over the top to Mo Salah was just absolutely beautiful. It was Trent-esque. And I would thought the player that was probably going to benefit the most from Arne Slot coming in was going to be Ryan. And you can kind of see that. And I remember last season, I remember watching him play in the 6, and Klopp played him in Klopp's 6 last season. And I thought, I don't think that the 6 is his position. But now he's playing it in Slot's 6 role, right? And he looks comfortable there. And I would be okay with him staying there. And I would be okay with him being our starting 6. I don't know about you. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Ryan had a damn good game today. And he had a really good game last time he played that 6 role. So you guys let me know what you think. If it even makes sense for Ryan to be our starting 6 if the Zubimendi deal falls through. But if it does, I think we need to strengthen literally everywhere else. Literally everywhere else in attack and then also in defense if the Zubimendi deal falls through and we don't find that there is a 6 that fits the style of play that we want to play, because I think Ryan can play that role for us. We already have someone that I feel like with the right coaching, some consistency, and some time, we could see him do some special stuff in there. I think he is a very good player. And I've said this before. I don't know if you guys remember. He was in comparisons and in conversations with Jude Bellingham when they were coming up. Like, they were like the 2 best young central midfielders coming out of the German, Dutch area. And everyone kind of forgot about him when he moved to Bayern Munich and he didn't get the game time that he probably should have. But I think his time is now. Gerald Kwanzaa is probably going to be the center back partner for VVD. Konate has been struggling, guys. He didn't play a terrible game in that second match, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. But I think Slot likes Kwanzaa a little bit more because Kwanzaa, he gives me a midfielder kind of vibe when he's on the ball. He has good control. He has good passing range as well. And you just kind of trust him a little bit more. Where Konate, he kind of feels a little clunky. I don't know if you guys remember. I don't know if this is a good comparison, but Mo Sissoko, you guys remember that guy? he gives me that energy of just like the awkwardness on the ball, but somehow still able to dig it out and get the job done in defense. And then I think Konate has just been able to do that consistently enough to where we're thinking, okay, he's a phenomenal young center back, but can he play the way that Arne Slot wants him to play? I'm not sure, especially with how he's just kind of just been drilled by Arne on the sidelines and in coaching of what he wants him to do. And I'm not sure if it's landing with Ibu, right? So we'll see. I love Ibu. I think he's a huge character in the dressing room, and I think he's a big loss if he does end up moving on. But I think we will see probably maybe 5 or 6 players move on, whether that's in loan or whether that's in permanent deal. And we've seen that with Fabio, right? Trent Alexander-Arnold is our best player. Bold take. Trent Alexander-Arnold is the best player that we have right now. He looks like he's in the shape of his life. He looks like he's ready to be in the form of his life. And he looks like he's ready to have the biggest influence on this Liverpool team. Some of the passing that he was doing today was out of this world. And we are so used to it as Liverpool fans. We're so damn spoiled. And I think the whole public is kind of used to it at this point. And like, we got to understand, players being able to do that is not normal, especially when you're a defender. And you saw him pick up in those central midfielder positions, like I mentioned in the last video, in those Geertruida positions where he was almost in between center backs, right? Playing as a deep quarterback. And I was like, I can't believe I made that read. That's kind of crazy. So big shout out to me. Yeah, I'm going to self-glaze for a little bit. But I predicted that he would play in that position and play alongside Ryan. And I think that's why Ryan had a better game, because he did have that partner in there, and almost like 2 partners with Maka and Trent in there for that safety net, which kind of covers for the need of having a now 6 in there who's really great at defending, where you have a 3v2 or a 3v1 a lot of those times. I'd be really interested to see what happens in that right back position. It looks like Kwanzaa kind of drifts over there and almost plays as an impromptu right back when that does happen. But it looked good, and Tsimikas looked comfortable in the left center back role and kind of getting forward when he can, versus when Robo does it, he looks out of place and uncomfortable. So it's very interesting to see what ends up happening. Allison almost played as a second center back today. I'll be honest here. And there's some people I read online that had some worries if Allison could play this type of football. Don't worry about Allison. He has some of the best passing range that I've ever seen out of a goalkeeper. I think that's like one of the things that we don't bring up enough about Allison, how good he is at distributing the ball. And those 2 goals were essentially a creation of Allison being able to pick out a pass from long range. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff from this Liverpool team. The second game, really quick. Not very much to go over in this game. Very pedestrian. Alberto Molerio is one of those guys that I'm a big fan of, and I got to see him play a little bit today, and he looked good. He plays for Las Palmas, and I think he could potentially be a target for us down the way. Very responsible with the ball, good with his feet, can play in central midfielder, can play out wide. I'm very surprised that no big team has kind of gone after him today, but he had a decent game today as well. I believe he's only 20 or 21 years old. Just wanted to give a shout out to him because I've been following him since he was like 18. But a lot of outgoings are going to be happening in this window. You can kind of tell. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Konate go late in the window. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Indo go sooner rather than later. He played a better game, but this is Las Palmas that we're talking about. We're not talking about a Premier League proven team where mistakes will be fatal, right? Where there's going to be better pressers. There's going to be better people who are more equipped to deal with you. And I don't know if he's a good fit there. Ben Doak is really good on the left wing. Ben Doak is really good on that left wing, guys. The fact that he's able to just take the ball and ram it down your throat with reckless abandon, if he can get his finishing together, he's going to be a special player. And I think that's maybe why Fabio was allowed to leave, because I think Slot sees what we all are kind of seeing with Ben Doak. He's the real deal. He looked really good today. Let's hope he stays healthy and he starts getting included into the first team. I think he was probably one of the better players on the field. The best player on the field in that second half was Harvey Elliott. The passing from Harvey has just improved dramatically dramatically. And I don't know if it's just a change in mentality, change in tactics, because I know Endo mentioned that Harvey is actually one of the smarter players that he's ever played with. And which is a huge compliment, I think. And I think not very many people really speak about that about Harvey. But him being able to blend into this slot system so quickly and play these one-touch, two-touch passes and one-time passes, long-range passes that are finding the target right on the nail. And you could kind of see some of the creativity coming into effect at the end of last season with the streak of assists that he went on at the end of the season. And he looks to just be picking that up and continuing. And I think him and Sabasai need to be heavily rotated in that 10 role, because I think Harvey's one for the he's a star. Harvey's a star, bruh. He just is. And it's my fault because I slept on Harvey for so long. I slept on Harvey for so long. But being able to have him and Sabo in that 10 role, it's good to be. We eating good as a Liverpool fan right now, right? But to wrap things up, these two games really show us that we really need Zubimendi. We really need Zubimendi to be able to carry this ball out from the back, give Alisson an option short instead of him having to go long. Be safe on the ball, be press proven, and deliver it to Trent to let him distribute and you do his magic. Subi is probably going to be the most important signing that we sign this season. And I think that's why we haven't given up on him when historically, when players try to play this game, we just say, forget it, and we pull out of the deal, right? We've historically done that multiple times when players try to play this game. But I think Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes, Arne Slot, they understand this is going to be the best option that we have right now in the market. This is the guy. We need to do everything that we can to sign him and pull out all the stops. The fee is not a problem, which is coming out now, which I knew that from the beginning. Selling Fabio wasn't going to trigger the agreement. I think we always had the money. And now it looks like we're going to be paying the full thing. We're not doing installments. We just want to get the player in where it's him or nobody, right? This is the guy that we need to complete the puzzle. And that happens. And Liverpool's a threat this season. Like a title threat, guys. But let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the club. We're growing and growing. We're almost at 2,000. That's the goal. Let's keep plugging along, guys. Appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. From all over the world, from Uganda, Saudi Arabia. Absolutely insane stuff. Bangladesh, I saw somebody say they were from there. Absolutely insane. Welcome to the club. Love you guys. We're going worldwide with this thing. And appreciate you guys all. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.